there is written textual evidence that some Republicans, including members of Congress, wanted to overrule or throw out the election results in 2020. You could reasonably say steal the election. We see it in the just released correspondence with former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Here's just a few of them. On November 4th, the day after the election, Meadows received a text suggesting, quote, an aggressive strategy for Republican-led state legislatures to just send their own electors to Congress and let the Supreme Court decide who won the election. On January 2nd, Trump spoke with Georgia's Secretary of State, urging him to find votes. During that call, a state official texted Meadows, quote, need to end this call. I don't think this will be productive for much longer. On January 3rd, Meadows sent a message to an unknown member of Congress recounting a conversation he had with Trump regarding whether Pence could overturn the Electoral College results. He wrote, quote, he thinks the legislatures have the power, but that the VP has the power too. On January 5th, Congressman Jim Jordan sent Meadows a message that read in part, quote, on January 6, 2021, Vice President Mike Pence, as President of the Senate, should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all. And the day after the insurrection, also the day the Electoral College vote was officially read out loud, Meadows received a message reading, quote, yesterday was a terrible day. We tried everything we could in our objections to the 6 states. I'm sorry, nothing worked. I'm joined now by CNN political analyst Carl Bernstein. Carl, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. You've obviously seen so much history. These revelations over the last 5 days, and we have not seen these before.
This is new.
I wonder what you think is most important in them.
What they add up to, which is a seditious conspiracy led by the President of the United States, his Chief of Staff, and a gang of congressional members in the House and Senate to undermine the very nature and basis of American democracy. There's never been anything like this in our history. You have to go back to the Civil War to see such a seditious conspiracy by our leaders, but never by a president of the United States himself. This is unique in our history. It is a moment in which it is an ongoing conspiracy heading toward the elections of 2024, because the same tactics and techniques have now been embraced by one of the two political parties. Again, unique in our history. This is a moment in American history to say, stop. Let us in the media, let us in the political system, let us in our institutions in this country pause and see what is happening to our American democracy. It began with this seditious conspiracy. It is ongoing, and we need to take a look at where we are in this country, because otherwise our democracy is overwhelmed by this ongoing seditious conspiracy.
One of the things that's unusual and maybe unprecedented, look, and obviously you lived through Watergate, Jim Jordan has written one of these text messages.
He's one of the conspirators.
Okay, but he's also a member of the jury. He's also a potential witness. He's in every part of this. So you have a congressman who may be A, involved, but B, somehow involved in being the jury here.
Let's look at history. Let's go back and look at the other seditious conspiracy, which was the Civil War, which was led by Jefferson Davis, a Democrat, a member of the Congress of the United States. We are seeing now in our modern history, in this period, an attempt, so far successful in many regards, to undermine the very basis of who we are as a nation, as a United States of America. And it's ongoing. There is a piece in the Atlantic magazine this month by Barton Gellman that outlines what the strategy of the Trumpist Republican Party is. The Trump, it's not a faction anymore, that the Trump element in this country has gained control of a political party and is determined to undermine the whole notion of free elections in this country.
What I found truly revealing about that article is the success they have already had rhetorically with some people there, with a big chunk, perhaps, of the Republican Party. Carl, I want to ask you specifically about the committee, what they've discovered and what might still be there, because you've got such keen insight into this. If you could find, if there, the magic piece of evidence What would you be looking for now?
I'm not sure this is about a single smoking gun. This is about a matrix that has now been established and what is becoming one of the great investigations, despite the opposition of the Republican Party, to make sure that this investigation doesn't happen. They are uncovering with these documents that you've put up here on the screen and read this morning, the nature, the specifics, and who the seditionist conspirators are, and their own words. We now know the location, to some extent, of the war room in the Willard Hotel where the conspirators, not the president, the chief conspirator, but those in the Willard Hotel were in touch with the president of the United States in this conspiracy. But I think we also got to look at something that's really unusual, and that is the hero fighting this conspiracy. Someday, maybe there'll be a statue in Statuary Hall of Liz Cheney. This is extraordinary. She's liable to lose her seat. She is standing between the success, continuation of our democracy, and really the undermining of it in a way that we have never seen in our lifetimes. This is not about Watergate where the system worked. The system worked in Watergate because courageous Republicans came forward and said, the President of the United States is a criminal president. He has tried to undermine our electoral system, which is what Watergate was in large measure about, and we're not going to allow it, and that president had to leave office. That's not happened here. What's happened here is that one of the two political parties has been captured by the forces of sedition. And we have an opportunity in media. We really should have one major agenda up until the election of 2024, and that is to reveal every aspect of this ongoing conspiracy and who the conspirators are. And they now include the leadership of the Republican Party, the craven leadership, including Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy, who are going along with this party of voter suppression. The Republican Party has become a party of voter suppression instead of endorsing and encouraging free elections.
A discussion for another time is whether Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy should be in the same bucket there.
Well, no, that they've allowed it. They're craven conduct. No, they are not co-conspirators in the active sense of Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows, et cetera. They have enabled it.
Thank you very much for being with us this morning.